Hopefully the gammed up glasses. I figure it's too small, they won't notice. Anyway. Hi everybody, Melanie Pierce with Royal LePage Triland in London, Ontario. I want to introduce you to one of my favorite neighborhoods, Old East Village. So let's get started. I'm going to do a little bit of a drive around, tell you a little bit about this neighborhood that I love so much. As you might see, it is raining today, so just ignore that. Grab an umbrella, you'll be fine. In this neighborhood, there's a lot of old architecture. You can see the lined up of two-story buildings along this route. And on some of the fronts of these buildings are plaques that tell you who actually lived there shortly after the turn of the century. Super cool idea. And it gives those people who are moving into this area a sense of its history. Most of the architecture in this neighborhood are 2 stories with some bungalows, some 1.5s. You're not going to find 4-level back splits or raised ranches here. It's just really not what was available at the time. Lots of brick, lots of character. We're right now on Lorne Ave, which essentially has a lot of character in itself. It also holds the summer festival about where we started. You come down and there's lots of people buying and selling things. You can get a bite to eat, listen to music. Now up ahead you'll notice there's some buildings. Because of the growth in the city, we've had a decent amount of new builds. These are 3 large rental apartment buildings, and there is no lack of renters to take them up on that. We're heading towards what essentially is the main corridor in Old East Village. See a little bit of art at the side there, London Clay Art Center. And I think we're going to do a loop around. So we'll see these areas probably once or twice by the time I'm finished. So there's been a lot of new investment in this area. This Union 10 is a new bar. Haven't had a chance to check out what's going on there. But it is an area that previously was downtrodden, a little bit rough around the edges, and it is in a revival time. So we're seeing a lot of new entrepreneurs opening up shops, funky little coffee shops and independent stores and what have you. The marketplace over here, which has a few restaurants in it, and over here the Root Cellar, which originally was a wine store but is now a organic restaurant. Probably going to use the the London Police Department to turn around to get a good view of this, or I might go further up. We'll see. So we're at Dundas and Adelaide. Very busy spot for sure. Up here to my left is Lily's Corners. I think that building's, the full number, the date it was built was 1881. Now I can't see the other side, but I've been looking at this building for a long time. I can't be that far off on that number. Let's see what it was. 67. Wow, that's awesome. Makeover shop has been there forever. So we are going to borrow the police parking lot just to turn around. So when you first enter this part of Old East Village, what you find is that you're going to feel like you're in a town unto itself. It changes because of the age of the buildings and just because of the way it's more compact. It's more, I don't know, old-fashioned, I guess. At one point in time, they called this the Boulevard, and the city had made it in S-curves. Eventually, that wore off. We needed parking for these buildings so that people could stop and shop or have lunch. So they got rid of the S-curves and put in some parking along the road. Palace, there's often a different theater that springs up here. The coffee house at the side, haven't had a chance to try that, but there's lots of good coffee shops in this part of the city. See all the different styles of restaurants, different flavors in the Aeolian Hall, which is great for concerts, small concerts, right? Fantastic vibe. Old East Village Fitness, haven't heard a bad thing about them. They're just over the top. You can grab them up on Facebook. Right up here to the right is one of the fair's Western Fairground buildings. It is the Western Fair District, but in this building every weekend is the market. So that's both Saturdays and Sundays. Fantastic market. I think it's one of the best in the city. And horse races behind the red fence there. And obviously these grounds are for the Western Fair, which is held every fall. So up ahead, just to the left, is Tony's famous Italian restaurant. I couldn't tell you how long this has been here, but I know that it was here when I was a kid. So that's a long time ago. Great pizza, great panzerotti, authentic Caesar salads. If you don't like anchovies, you're going to have to state it because they're true. The building, built in 1927. So, lost and found up here, Curly Girls, great, fantastic places to shop, as well as back to Fuschia, just for old items, but so cool. They don't pick up on junk, you know. Vietnam's restaurant has to be one of my absolute favorite restaurants in the city. And over here where Kellogg's used to be, at the back end, they have the Factory, which is a family activity company. McCullough's for your Halloween outfits. It has also been around forever. And eventually, the old McCormick's is becoming, I believe, an old age home or an old age apartment setup. So they're going to be ripping down that eyesore and rebuilding it, reviving it, bringing more people into Old East Village.